Quo Vadimus. It's Latin for where are we going? And with a global pandemic still ravaging across the globe, yeah, it's a really good question. Where are we going? Hi, I'm RW, and I'm pursuing a career path as a writer and a speaker in the area of personal relationships. And when I decided to go and build my platform, I decided to use video as the major plank to build it. And I acquired a lot of video making software and some skill and some expertise over the last number of years, and it's been a rewarding journey. And it gives me the opportunity to go and do videos, series like this. Now, this series originally evolved from one of my video making software packages. The company that has users globally, when COVID started, decided that they would love to go and have their users, if they wanted to, produce short videos on how COVID was affecting them personally and where they were living. I thought this was a wonderful idea to go and see the reaction and what was happening in other countries by other video creators. And so I participated, and I created this series, Quo Vadimus. And it's an irregular series, so in other words, I do episodes when I have something of value to say, and this would be one of those opportunities for me to say something. This is episode number 4, by the way, and you're welcome to go and check out the other 3 episodes after you watch this one, if you're interested in doing so. Episode number 3, by the way, is really good. I explain to you how you calculate the death rate range, and it's really important to understand it. I put it in context of how much more serious COVID-19 is versus your standard flu. So if you want to go and check out that episode after this, terrific. In today's episode, I'm going to go and talk obviously about what's happening in Canada, my country, and more specifically the province of Manitoba in which I live. But I'm also going to touch upon 2 other countries in this episode with different experiences, and it's really kind of mind-blowing when you kind of look at the data. So it'll be an interesting episode, and it'll be an informative episode, and it will probably, and I'm hoping it's going to go and motivate you to do the right things when it comes to protecting yourself, your family, your co-workers, your friends from COVID and any of the variants that eventually evolve from it. Because unlike a lot of other people who are telling you that things are getting better, I really don't support that position, and I base my opinion on numbers and facts. So what I do want to start with is what's happening in Canada. Canada is trying to open up to the world again. Almost all the provinces have opened up, and the results haven't been exactly good. In fact, all we have to do is kind of look at what's happening south of the border in the United States, and quite frankly, what's happening as of me doing this video is becoming alarming, because it's pretty apparent that it's COVID, and specifically COVID Delta, is now taking off in the U.S. and with a vengeance. So I was curious. My own province, Manitoba, just recently opened up. So most of the restrictions are gone, and a lot of the people I associate with, who I work with, who are friends, we're all of the opinion, no, we don't think this was a good idea, one iota. And looking historically may provide a bit of insight about what's possibly going to happen next. So as an example, most of the data that I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to give to you, is based on what happened on August the 9th in either 2020 or 2021. So it's a year-over-year comparison, all right? And that's important to have markers, goalposts, to determine, has it gotten better, has it stayed the same, or has it gotten worse, okay? And so what I want to talk about at this point is Canada as a whole. And Canada, back on August 9th, 2020, we had in this country on that day 230 new cases of COVID. And the 7-day average was 367 cases. All right, so 230 on that day, average for 367. So that's the first marker. A year later, on August 9th, 2021, Canada had 1,212 new cases of COVID, and the 7-day average was 1,293. So a year earlier, 230. This year, 1,212. Definitely didn't get better, got worse. And you also have to understand, we started to vaccinate our population in May, April, May, June for first dosage, and obviously July, August for second doses. Now, speaking of that, Canada as a whole right now, we've got about 62% of our adult population vaccinated. So Canada has a population of about 35 million people. So we've got 23,479,992 adults as of the 9th of August, 2021, who are fully vaccinated. So that's 62%. So I mean, that's a good number. We'd like it to be higher, a lot higher, but 62% is significant. And those individuals, if you factor them in who have had at least one dose, that number goes up to 72%, and it's about 27,200,000. So I mean, that's a good number. But again, you look at case over case, year over year, definitely backsliding, and it's gotten worse. And it's also important to note that the death rate for COVID as of August the 9th for Canada as a whole is 1.85%. So translated, for every 100 people that if you knew or you know who contracted COVID in Canada, of that 100 people, friends, family, co-workers, if 100 people had COVID, one of them, you say two to round up, 2 of them are going to die because of COVID. So that's the death rate in Canada for COVID. All right. So, and that's an important number to remember and to reference the other 2 countries I'm going to talk about shortly. So when we get to Manitoba, back in August of 9th, a year ago, we had 35 cases on that day, and our daily average for 7 days was 15. So we were obviously at that point, our 7-day average was coming down, but we had 35 new cases on that day. Well, we go and spring forward to August 9th of this year, and what Manitoba had on that day was 25 new cases of COVID. So 35 cases a year ago versus 25 today. Well, I mean, that's an improvement. No argument there. However, the daily average this year for 7 days was 27. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Yes, your cases on a particular day were down, but your 7-day average was up compared to a year ago. So, you know, that's kind of a mixed signal there. Again, we're starting to open up, and so most of the restrictions are gone for capacity for retailers or businesses. Masks are no longer mandated, they're recommended. I personally don't agree with this, and a lot of the people I know don't agree with it. We should continue to be masking, continue to be social distancing. You know, definitely we should be looking out for each other. because this is not over yet. And we're dealing with Delta right now, like most of the world is. And Delta is, like I said, the incubation period time goes from 7 days now to 4. So, in 4 days, you could be extremely sick if you haven't been vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated, you have some protection, but it's not full protection, and that's a concern. But to put what we're dealing with in Canada into a global picture, I want to talk about 2 other countries. Now, the first one I want to talk about is Peru. And I chose Peru because Peru had a variant. They went through Delta, but they are also the originator of a variant called Lambda. And Lambda is as easily transmitted or even more transmittable than Delta is. It apparently doesn't discriminate against children. In fact, it kind of likes children, so children are more at risk. Again, if you get this variant, you shorter incubation time, you get sicker, and it takes longer if you're hospitalized to recover. All right, so those are not good things. And the other thing, they have done some study work on, and so at this point it's not conclusive, but it's probably leaning that way. There is some indicator that the Lambda variant is resistant to vaccines. So this is something that the medical community was dreading because the longer that COVID is allowed to exist, the greater the likelihood that we're going to end up with more variants, and that the variants could be more lethal, okay, or more of a problem. So now we have that concern. Now, what's happened is that Lambda has spread apparently to 30 countries. As of when I was doing the research for this video, including the U.S. The U.S. apparently, the last time I looked, had about 1,800 new cases, and they were all Lambda. And in the U.K., but I just found out, and this is breaking news, that Lambda has now officially hit Canada. Apparently there are 5 cases in the province of Quebec. So it's here, and this is another major concern, because if we look at Peru, and Peru, you have to realize, Central America, or South America, I should say, has been ravaged by COVID and its variants. And Peru, to give you an idea, where Canada has only had total cases as of August the 9th this year, we had 1,443,436 cases. Peru has had 2,125,848 cases as of August the 9th. In Canada, we dealt with death of 26,683. The deaths in Peru were 197,029, and the death rate in Peru is 9.27%. So translated, if you are living in Peru and you know 100 people, friends, family, co-workers who all got COVID or any of the variants, of those 100 people, 9 are going to die. And that's shattering. Peru has got the highest death rate from COVID globally. It's something that it's a position you don't want to take any pride in having. And my heart goes out to the people of Peru because this is a devastating death rate in every sense of the word. And then I want to talk about another country. So we've talked about Canada and the U.S., which is North America. We talked about Peru, which is South America. And now we're going to talk about Europe, and we're going to specifically talk about Iceland. And I want to give a shout out to a video channel on YouTube I've been watching regularly, and it's called the Reykjavik Grapevine. And I stumbled across this channel, and it deals with culture and news and a whole lot of other different things pertaining to Iceland. And their coverage on the volcano has been superb on Wednesdays. I really love it. I love Valor, who does the news reporting. I've appreciated the information and the knowledge, and especially with the reporting on the volcanoes, because it's been a very pleasant diversion from dealing with the daily knowledge of what's happening with COVID. So my shout out to all the wonderful people at the Reykjavik Grapevine. Valor, keep up the good work. I love what you're doing. And I saw a news piece where Valor was explaining how what the impact's been in Iceland with COVID, and it was really informative. And I thought, okay, I'm going to double check this for accuracy. And yeah, what he told me, what he said in the video was accurate. So I'm going to go and communicate that information. Now, Iceland, I didn't know this, when it comes to European Committee for Disease Control, or Center for Disease Control, Iceland, for the most part, has been rated green through most of COVID. And I mean, that's something that's really great to have accomplished. And you know what, it's applaudable, and I sincerely say that. You got to realize that Iceland has got a population, I believe, of about 350,000 people, something like that. It's about half the size of the city of Winnipeg and the surrounding areas where I'm based. But to give you an idea how successful, and successful is probably the best way of saying this, that they were in dealing with COVID. They opened up on June 25th. All the restrictions kind of disappeared in the country. So if you lived in Iceland, you could pretty well go back to a normal life. Now, over the course of COVID so far, they've only seen 8,900 cases of COVID, which is, you know, a relatively low number. But again, it's a lower population, but 8,900 is still a nice number. And what is really, really important, and actually a testament to good planning, implementation, people going and doing the right thing, wearing a mask, social distancing, getting vaccinated, all that great stuff. They've only had 30 deaths. And so the death rate in Iceland as of the 9th of August was 0.38%. So that's a really nice number. That's a really good number. Comparing that to Canada, it's got a good number. Canada could do better. Comparing what the experience in Iceland to what happened in Peru, it's like night and day. Okay, but here's the thing. They opened up, like I say, on the 25th of June. And to go and put this in the context, on June 25th, they had zero cases of COVID, and their 7-day average was 1. Okay. On August the 9th, and remember, they opened up full bore, no restrictions. August the 9th, new cases, Iceland, 107. 7-day average, 111. They've gone from, they were green for most of COVID. Then they got, I guess, upscaled on rating to orange. And then Valor was saying in his news piece that he strongly suspected, or they were going to go to red. And that's probably happened. I haven't checked, so take that with a grain of salt. But obviously, what's the common denominator here? It's human beings traveling. And, that's, and I'm saying that is based on, that's my personal opinion, looking at the data. What's fundamentally changed here? Every time any country opens up or attempts to open up or loosens their restrictions, we get this short term of reduction in cases and in deaths, and then we end up with these giant spikes, and the momentum is up on cases, up on infections, up on hospitalizations, and unfortunately up on deaths. And that is that's not good. And now, like I say, with Lambda variant, we could be in for a brutal period of time. Now, what's also important, there are two other things I want to touch upon before I wrap this up. Back in January of 2020, I saw a news piece, and some of the medical researchers and some of the medical practitioners said that since this was new, there was no track record, and all we had was the Spanish flu as historically as a guide to how long this could go, COVID that being. Spanish flu, 3 years, 3 waves. Each one was apparently more lethal than the previous one. They said COVID could be 4 to 5 years. And when I heard this, I wasn't willing to bet money on 4 to 5 years because it'd be a real long shot. What people have to realize right now, we're in August. We're midway through August. And then there's going to be September, October, November, and then December is important because December, the first cases of COVID showed up in China. So in China, they're going to be starting year 3 of COVID. And when we get into January, in North America and most of the rest of the world, we're going to be going and entering our 3rd year of dealing with COVID. And if we don't see some fundamental change, and I mean some major fundamental change in reduction of cases, reduction of variants, there's a really good likelihood that year 1 of COVID, year 2 was a repeat of COVID, and in many cases, if you look at the numbers, it was worse. And we're potentially looking at another replay in year 3, starting in 2022. And I'll be honest with you, that's depressing. It's a depressing thought. And I'm a realist. I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. If a situation is not good, a situation isn't good. If a situation is good, it's good. If something's not great, but I can figure out a way of making it better, hey, we're going to go down that road. And I'm telling you right now, this isn't over by a long shot. If we get to January and things are just as bad as they were at the beginning of January 2021, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have to go and start really reevaluating how we're going to go and stamp this out, because this cannot continue. We cannot possibly go in and have any type of normal life if the variants keep being created, because the population, the people, some of the population keeps going and doing things that are going to go and provide the environment for those variants to be created and for them to ravage even the vaccinated populations of the countries. So that's what's important. It's really important that we're going to have to deal with this. And The one other thing I really want to go and kind of stress here is that for all of you individuals watching who have gone and have been looking out for everybody, in other words, you social distance, you stayed at home where you have to, you wore a mask, you got vaccinated, you got fully vaccinated, you're limiting your social exposure. Thanks. Thank you for caring. Because nobody wants to go and have to deal with the fallout. And with the fallout, to give you an idea what has happened in Manitoba because of COVID, we now have a situation here where if you need surgery, it worked out, there is now in excess of 30,000 surgeries. And so it's all types of surgery. So if you need heart surgery, you're waiting for your number to come up. And the unfortunate part, depending on your overall state of health and how serious the medical condition is, the disease you're dealing with is, you may be gone before your number is called. And that's disturbing. The other thing, and I know this from personal experience, is biopsies. And normally in Manitoba, to get a biopsy, it's normally a 2 to 6 week period. So in other words, you need a biopsy, 2 to 6 weeks, you're going to get it. Because of COVID, you need a biopsy done in a hospital. It is now 2 years plus. So for all those individuals who are watching who say, hey, COVID's overblowing, it's not as serious or even less serious than the common flu, and it doesn't cause any inconvenience, baloney. I'm working with 2 people at my day job who have gone through COVID. One of them ended up being sick for just over 3 weeks. The second one was 8 weeks. This individual unfortunately got a version of COVID that had 2 strains that were the most lethal and the most aggressive. Was off, like I say, sick for 8 weeks, just returning to work 1 day a week, 3 hours, and still has trouble breathing. And we don't know what the long-term side effects, or the long haulers, as they're called, are going to happen to people who've gone through COVID. So yeah, you could have a very mild case of COVID, live through it, and then 6 months, 8 months, 10 months later, you're seeing you're having problems. You're having problems breathing. You're having mind fog. You have issues because the lining of your heart's been affected. And science is just finding out how those things are going to affect everyone. So this isn't over by a long shot. Even if it disappeared tomorrow, COVID disappeared tomorrow, the impact on the healthcare system and the quality of someone's life and the impact on their families and their co-workers and their friends, we just don't know how severe it's going to be. So that's why it's really important to go and take care of yourself and be safe. And it's fearful times, but I would like to leave you with this one point. And it's a great piece of advice, and it's dealing with fear. Fear tells you to be careful, not stupid. So as much as we all have to watch the daily news on the internet, the daily paper, your local TV stations, your radio stations, your cable channels, it's important to be aware of the facts of what's happening with COVID, and then do the appropriate things to safeguard yourself. So, be careful, not stupid. All right? So thank you for watching. I look forward to you checking out the previous episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Quo Vadimus. And feel free to go and check out a lot of other video production that I'm involved with. And more importantly, if you do need video production, and we can give you a single piece of video, so you want nice lower thirds, you want a nice intro, you want a nice extra, or you want to go and ask for some advice, all of those services I can probably help you with. And we have a passion for the little guys. So if you're a union, you're a nonprofit, you're a small business, you're a league, you're an association, you may want to go and check our Facebook page, Video by RW, and check out the quality and the depth of my video production, because almost everything that you see on our page on Facebook, all of that is, I have to say it, all of it we can customize, or any piece of that we can customize to meet your needs. So yes, we can get you video ready, and surprisingly, affordably. So again, thanks for watching, and be safe out there. Bye for now.